There are channels right now that are not just getting demonetized, they're getting removed from YouTube entirely. These were channels that posted for months, amassed a large following, made real money, and then out of nowhere, the lights went out. I'm going to show you exactly which type of channels are getting hit right now, what YouTube actually changed in their policies, and what the real difference is between a channel that uses AI and wins versus a channel that uses AI and gets removed entirely. Let me start with what's actually happening. As of July 2025, YouTube updated its partner program policy specifically to go after what they're calling inauthentic content. Not AI content in general, but inauthentic content. That distinction matters a lot, and I'll come back to it later. Because of this change, channels are now getting removed from YouTube entirely. Take these three channels, for example. These Spanish-based channels were all mostly AI-narrated content with your typical cookie-cutter AI-generated storytelling. Each one of these channels had millions of subscribers. All of them were scrutinized by YouTube and then removed from the platform. And then there's True Crime Case Files. This one is different because it's one that actually got media and local law enforcement involved. The creator was posting AI-narrated crime stories from around the country. One of their videos described a brutal crime that happened in Littleton, Colorado, one of the safest towns in Colorado with around 45,000 residents. People in that area were so shocked with the crime happening in their neighborhood, they started looking into it. And Elizabeth Hernandez, a reporter from the nearby Denver Post, found out about the video when people began contacting her newsroom asking for more information about the murder. Locals were baffled as to why a crime this heinous wasn't covered in the Denver Post. And it was because the crimes were not real.
A video about a supposed murder in Littleton went viral this week. Millions of views online. Only one problem. It's totally false.
True Crime Case Files brands itself on YouTube as a go-to spot for true crime content. The concept caught on quickly, more than 85,000 subscribers in less than 1 year. The video is among more than 100 others on the channel that appear to be made using AI. A program creates 25-minute films, uses the same few still images, and a narrator to tell the story. And below the videos are hundreds of comments from people convinced they're true.
It was all made up with ChatGPT. This channel also never disclosed that their content was AI generated and not real. And on top of that, the term true crime was supposed to be an indicator that these were in fact real stories. YouTube obviously then got involved and ended up pulling the plug on that channel. And it's not just true crime channels. NBC News found a whole network of channels using deepfake images and AI narration to spread fake stories about real celebrities. Multiple channels got demonetized or terminated because of that. There's a channel right now called Stories Told that creates AI narrated animal content. This channel posts different titles every week with the exact same voiceover and slideshow format every single time. Their posting frequency and AI heavy content set off YouTube's new inauthentic filter, and then the channel was then flagged by YouTube. Well, this means that the channel has now been demonetized. So what is this new YouTube policy about, and how can it affect your channel? It's actually pretty simple. The policy states that mass-produced, repetitive uploads and inauthentic channels are ineligible for monetization. And inauthentic means that YouTube is now making a judgment call about whether a real human being with a real creative perspective is actually behind the content. And in January 2026, YouTube CEO Neil Mohan put out his annual letter and made it even clearer. He said they were extending their spam detection tools specifically to reduce the spread of low-quality AI content. Using AI is not the violation. Building a channel where AI does all of the thinking, all of the writing, and all of the creative work with no real human perspective added on top of it, that is the violation. So in short, AI as a tool is allowed, but AI as the entire creative process is not. But there's also other types of channels that are being affected by all the latest AI developments. I want you to think about the early days of YouTube. Anytime you wanted to learn something, you would just go to YouTube, type your question, and you would get a variety of answers from creators that give you mixed but decent answers. Today, AI can do that better, faster, and more accurately than any person can every single time. Searches that used to be dominated by YouTube are starting to decline. I'm talking about search terms like how to lose weight, how to start a business, or even things to do in Greece are all searches that are flooding LLMs like ChatGPT. And honestly, you can't blame them because you can get answers almost immediately using that instead of watching a 20-minute video filled with a bunch of fluff and B-roll of someone's cat just to get an answer.
Come on, buddy.
Now, it's not all doom and gloom for everyone out there because AI has taken over. In 2023, a marketing report shared that 60% of viewers were enthusiastic about AI-generated creator content. Now, fast forward in 2025, in an updated report, that number was at 26%. So in 2 years, that number fell off the cliff. And it's because viewers are not stupid. They can feel when they're watching a person versus when they're watching a process. And when you build a channel entirely on information, facts, steps, tutorials with no story attached to any of them, you build it on the exact same thing that AI does better than you. So here's what I believe the type of channels that are going to make it through all of this. They are human-first channels. But let me explain, because when people hear be authentic or just show your personality, that advice is so vague, it's almost useless. Let me tell you what I actually mean by this and what AI genuinely cannot replace. What AI cannot replace is the scar. AI can explain how something works, but AI cannot tell you what it felt like to fail at something for the first time. AI can list the steps to land a client, but AI cannot describe that specific call where you almost lost a deal and what you actually said to turn it around. AI can give you the framework, but it cannot give you the story that proves that the framework is real. That entire gap is your advantage right now. The channels that are going to grow through all of this are the ones built on personal discovery, not just information. This is exactly what AI is flooding out of the market right now, generic information, which means lived experience is getting more valuable every single day. A real point of view, content that shows how you actually do what you do, not just what you know about it. Think about vlog style content, the behind the scenes of closing a deal, an honest breakdown of something you tried and it didn't go the way you expected. That type of content is what viewers are moving towards because they are completely saturated with stuff that feels like it came out of a machine. But I just want to reiterate this. Using AI is not the problem. The creators who are going to get ahead are the ones who come up with the ideas themselves. They are the ones that do the real creative work themselves. They have their own story and their own point of view, and then they use AI to move faster, to write better, to do the heavy lifting on parts that don't need human touch. AI is a tool, a really powerful tool, but that tool doesn't drive the car. You drive the car. And if you're sitting in a back seat, just letting AI do all the thinking and navigating, that's the type of channel that's going to get replaced. So I'm building this channel from the ground up as someone who has ADHD, because I personally believe that having this condition makes it almost extremely difficult to become a content creator. And I'm building a platform/model that helps creators like me who have tried and failed for many years finally grow their personal brand online and share their mission with the world. I have a link in the description of what I'm building if you want to check it out. If you want to just stick around for the free resources, make sure you like this video and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Thank you.